In January, 3 weeks before the first performance of the new Buddhist opera, The Triumph of Life, rehearsals started with the chorus at Vipassana Retreat Centre over an intensive weekend. It was produced by the same team of Maitreya Bandhu and Tim Lissimore, who brought us the oratorio, The Voice of the Buddha.
Namo tassa, bhagavato arahato, samma sambuddhassa, namo tassa.
I wanted to create a real sense of community around a single imaginative project that was worth doing, irrespective of whether you were Buddhist or not.
Then you walk, they sort of stagger back. As they get there, now on straight away, then you see that and fall, and I go like that. Yes. And then come on, lower the body down very, very slowly. Let's try it something like that. So you're basically the imagery is that you're covering your face because you're so...
We had a weekend at Potash Farm, which was the first time I'd rehearsed anybody. So I visualised it all in my mind, and I rehearsed the choir without ever having rehearsed the principles.
From Monday afternoon we're starting rehearsal. Monday evening we do a run through the whole thing with the principles, and then from then in it's pretty much every day up to the performance. So this is like right on the edge of I feel like I'm just about to jump into this great sort of pool.
I suppose this is just to sort of get a feel for the whole thing, really. Yeah. Okay. Just a few days after the final performance of The Voice of the Buddha, we were talking. We sort of perhaps jointly had this vision of the Buddha and Ananda walking on stage, two old men at the end of their lives, having shared many of those final years, 25 years together. It was very exciting to hear my music beginning to sort of be communicated, first of all, to the performers, and it was very moving at times as well too. Suddenly these sounds that had existed in my head started to make sense to other people. That's like the sort of first communication of something that's within.
I think we won't probably do that. I think I'll go for something much less naturalistic than that.
I knew very clearly the atmosphere I wanted to create. But again, it wasn't even an atmosphere I wanted to create. I have a world that I want to be in, which is a world where people are friendly, where people get on with each other and cooperate with each other. And I wanted that to be the world that we were creating. But I don't think I consciously tried to do it. I definitely wanted food to be there. I wanted us all to eat together. I think that's very important. I think it's part of a genuine human life, that you stop work and you all eat together and relax together and get to know each other. And some of the bits I most enjoyed were just watching the whole company in all these tables and chairs that we brought food from the Gallery Cafe or from the Wild Cherry. And we'd just eat together and chat, and Harold would tell us all these stories of the harpsichord he bought in wherever it was, or I find that so delightful. So we had this soprano part that was from a man. A few weeks later, we had a Buddhism course. Manish came along. Someone said, "Oh, what do you do?" He says, "I'm an opera singer." I said, "Oh, that's interesting. We're doing an opera here." I said, "Oh, I'd be really interested." And then he rang me up and left a message on the answer phone saying, "I'm a male soprano. Be interested in taking part in this." So there we are. Suddenly, we've got a male soprano, one of literally 4 or 5 in the world, and we happen to have a part written for a man that's in a soprano range. So it really was really rather amazing.
Let's have 3 big cats. 1, 2, 3. Stand up.
I just felt that it would be just so positive to create a community of people, an artistic community of people that were influenced by the compassionate vision of the Dharma and included children, included that element. And of course you've got this lovely story in Buddhism of the animals coming to see the Buddha die.
Okay, nothing happens yet on this one, just listen to the music. It's creeping music, moving music.
Right from the start we got this children's project that Lautavira and Aideen really were in charge of. So Lautavira would come down from Manchester and do all these workshops. And he was brilliant with the kids. He just so good with children. Instead of us going to teach them Buddhism, we just said, why don't we do this together? It's so different going along to a school and saying, let's do this together.
Do you remember, I said, when do you come back? You go away, you...
For me, part of what we're doing with the Triumph of Life is showing people the movement, is showing people Buddhism, is showing people the Friends of the Western Buddhist Order. And actually our movement does involve children. We have children's retreats, people have children. Do you know, it's important that people see that children are part of the life of Buddhism and the life of our movement. So for that reason I wanted children to be involved in the performance. I also thought, I suppose just for my own self, if when I was 10 in Henley in Arden, if I had got involved in an opera, I would have found it just completely exciting. So partly that was in my mind. I just thought, well, for me it would have been so exciting to be an animal and have a tail and be on stage in an opera, you know, especially an opera would have been just completely exciting.
Okay, sit yourselves down,
We've got 21 kids here. We've got 17 orchestra, we've got 8 principals, we've got pandemonium. So we're trying to get them to work with the subs, we're trying to get them to work with the orchestra. And if we manage it, it'll be a complete miracle.
Would the deer put the head down?
Who is this holy man? Who is this holy man?
Is it so? Can it be? Is it so? Can it be? Can it be? Can it be? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Why are you crying?
I found that particularly the first rehearsal really sort of nerve-wracking. We had this one weekend at the centre first to stick it all together. And we had the orchestra there, all the choir and all the principals. The first time we'd ever had the whole cast. Then we moved to Stratford Circus.
Fine, move around up here. Whatever you want, but you...
As the first time we'd all got onto stage. We only had 2 rehearsals on stage because we'd only been able to hire it for a week. And then you had the lighting, and that was very, very nerve-wracking. We didn't have enough time to do the lighting for the dress rehearsal, so we had to do a lot of the lighting on the day of the first performance. Exciting at times, just walking on the stage and thinking, good heavens, here we are. Because it would just start as an idea, just as an idea in my mind and in Tim's mind. And then suddenly, there you are in a theatre and people come in. And we sold out literally weeks before. I mean, Stratford Circus event quite early on were refusing even to take a waiting list. They had 80 people on the waiting list, and they said, we're not taking any more names. I mean, I hoped to sell out. I didn't expect to sell out two weeks, I think, before the performance. My original idea was to do a 6-city tour, starting at Glasgow, finishing in London. You know, we go from one centre to another, creating these kind of hot spots of energy and inspiration. That was completely mad in retrospect.
Songs of parting, dancing.
We wanted this very beautiful, but quite austere and graceful, very, very sort of stark almost set. So you have this sort of flashes of colours of the robes. You have this very, very kind of pure white shape. In a very simple way, it was everything. So at times it becomes this beautiful bier that the Buddha lies on. At other times it's a stage, a rock concert stage. And other times it's a park bench. My own love of art was very strongly there. I had Giotto's painting in my mind very much, and Caravaggio's paintings. In some ways, there's a set of kind of paintings going throughout it that you see figures move around, and then they kind of open out into an image in my mind, composed of colours. So you've got all the principles in different coloured robes, and in the back of my mind is the whole Renaissance.
It is the nature of compounded things to pass away. With mindfulness, drive on.
I'd never imagined directing an opera, and I wouldn't have directed an opera had it not been for the fact that I was a Buddhist, that I was at the London Buddhist Centre, that I came here 17 years ago. In a way, everything comes down to, for me anyway, comes down to my own teacher, Bhante. So I feel very grateful to him and to his vision of spiritual community, which I was trying to do my little bit in helping to create in this context. And I was trying to invite people to join that, just for a little period. Not to say, therefore, you need to become Buddhist or anything like that. Just to take part in this atmosphere of friendship, which I think we've done so much to create.